All right. I guess I'm videoing, recording. All right. No, I'm not drunk or high. No, I'm not really. I'm serious. I shouldn't have said that. This is a video response. I'm looking down like this because my laptop is down there. I'm looking at my computer screen. I'm getting all confused. Name's Joe. Uh, this is a video response. I thought that I had made a video and sent it as a response to you, but I'm not too sure if it went through or not. So I'm just going to make a quick short video response to Airbrush Tutor. Thanks a lot for your tutorials. I found them interesting. This is my eye. I goofed up badly on the eyebrow, so I like to take the white primer and just clean it up and maybe go over it again. This is an image that I downloaded on my laptop. I just picked an eye off of the internet. Uh, you can see this is my attempt at your figure eight texture. I'm not really too sure if I understood that. I watched the video again a couple more times. I'm guessing that's just to build up a effect of having porous skin. But I kind of like it. You know, there's some reflections here. It actually looks three-dimensional. The color, yeah, I'm trying to do this in color. I should probably just do monotone, like work with a black and thin it down with clear coat to, give the idea, like a monotone kind of thing instead of worrying about color. But I'm using the Wicked airbrush paints. I love these things. They're great. And my new airbrush, my Badger Velocity, which I swear by this airbrush. This is an awesome airbrush for the money. I paid $89 for it on Amazon, so you can't go wrong. Or I think it was 90. I forget what it was, but it was under 100. And it was on my front doorstep in 2 days. Of course, I had to pay shipping for that, though. Uh, what could I say? I'm still learning how to airbrush, so it's very difficult. I have a ton of these around my room, and it's just where I put paint in the airbrush, and I just practice strokes. This is an eye that I did, and I didn't like how it was coming out. And when I think back, it was coming out actually all right. I should have just kept going. And then had some red that I mixed in with something else, and I started doing red with red paint. I was just, I think I'm more comfortable when I know something's not going to become a painting, and I'm a little bit less nervous. This is a quick view of my Orion Horsehead Nebula region. I'm just showing this real fast. It's upside down. Actually, it's a space painting, so there's no right side up. There's no up or down in space. There's only in or out. So that's pretty cool. I'm detecting an Australian accent, so I don't know if you're from Australia, but up here in New York, Orion is a prominent constellation in the winter skies. If you're watching the constellation Orion rise, this is the bottom star in the belt. This is the Flame Nebula. It's just south of that star. And then this is the Horsehead Nebula, which is very hard to see in a telescope. My major hobby is astronomy, but I haven't been doing much with that lately. This is just a star that's surrounded by nebulosity. I'm trying to simulate nebulosity. Oh, there goes everything. There's another attempt at an eye. I love painting the eye. It's so cool. And if you got my other video, then you'll see this. If you didn't, then I'll show it to you now. I was just wondering if you could do a quick portrait tutorial with color, with flesh tones. This is my first ever attempt at doing a portrait, and the canvas is all goofed up. I was using a Badger airbrush Badger with what color? With the Createx paints, and I was thinning them with water. I think alcohol is the not alcohol like drinking alcohol, but you know what I mean, rubbing alcohol, whatever, mixed with some water. It might be a better thinner, or just get the regular thinner that they recommend to use. But I was having a hell of a time with the airbrush. It would spray, then not spray, and it tip dry constantly. So I'm constantly dissecting the airbrush, thinking that it's clogged. I don't know what the problem was, but now that I have the Velocity, it's a much more responsive airbrush. I push the button, I pull the trigger back, I get paint. What I did was I basically masked off the lips with a clear sticky masking film, that Frisket film. And I'm guessing that that's not the right way to do it. The right way to do it is probably to paint the flesh tones and then shade all the flesh tones and then paint clear red mixed with clear and go over the lips with that to give the effect of having lipstick. Plus, before I had the Badger Velocity, I was having problems doing fine lines of any kind, so I painted in the eyelashes with a paintbrush. And you can see up close, it's not airbrushed, it's painted in with a paintbrush. Also, I never really finished this portrait. I think it was just a learning portrait. I never airbrushed the eyebrows in. And then this girl's got this ropey thing on the side of her head. So I was going to make templates to paint this whole thing with templates, but then it's not airbrushing. So I want to airbrush it. So now that I have the Badger Velocity, I tried to paint in some of the darker shadows around the thing. I might continue trying to paint this or finish this portrait. I might just leave it as is and just move on. This is another portrait that I'm redoing. I, this thing was actually looking like a photograph of this woman. She's my cousin. She's on my Facebook. So I downloaded the picture. I traced it onto the canvas. I actually transferred it onto the canvas. And now I'm like at a point where I want to start this thing. I had it on there already, and it felt like, like when I shaded her jaw, it looked like my roommate said, "Oh, it looks like she got punched in the jaw." So I started redoing it a little bit. I started redoing the face, and then it came out where I could never mix the flesh tones to the same color that I had, so I had to redo the whole face. And next thing you know, she's looking like an American Indian with war paint on. I'm saying American Indian because she's got long brown hair. It looked like an Indian with war paint on. So I just whited out the whole thing and started all over again. So that's my question. I know now, you can't really use a circle template to do retinas because the way that the picture is taken or whatever, the angle, they're not perfectly round. So I'm going to try to freehand this thing as much as possible. No templates. I'm not even going to mask out or cut out a template for the pupil, for the retinas. I think I'm just going to try to do the whole thing completely freehand. But I was just wondering if you could do a tutorial on doing a portrait, a colored portrait, and maybe try to explain to us newbies to airbrushing, how to go about, mixing proper flesh tones or whatever. I know that guy. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but this one guy that's got a video on how to do portraits, but on TCP Global's homepage, whatever. It's for sale. It's $14. I'm not paying for video. If I could just look at it on YouTube, although I am thinking about buying the video. I just want to hold off. Here's my messy floor. I don't want to show off my messy room. If I could just there's no sense in buying a $15 video that I can't afford when I could get help on the on YouTube for free. But anyway, I just want to say thanks for your videos. I appreciate it. I don't want to keep going on and on and on. It's late at night. I'm tired. I'm overdosed on caffeine. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. See if we can shut this thing off. I'll give you another video response when this one's done and show you how it came out.